My name is Suzi Lula. I feel privileged to get to be in a room full of women. I do a lot of my work online on Zoom. I don't know if any of you can relate, if any of you do work on Zoom, and I see people in, the top parts of our body. And so it's really just great to be able to be in a room full of women, get to talk, get to touch each other physically, but also touch each other heart to heart. And so I'm just grateful to get to dive in and jump in with all of you guys heart to heart. And before we do dive in, I'm a connector. So I know you've been talking with each other, but I just want everyone to have a sense of the room. So I'm curious about who we're all walking with today. Are most of you, let's just say, raise your hand if you are part-time or full-time work, like you're employed, working, not a stay-at-home mom. So that's what I thought. Almost everyone in the room is working in some capacity. Are there any of you that are parents, that are moms? Excellent, excellent. And I know, is it Ashley? I know there's like an actual baby here that we heard this morning. Is she still here? There you go. And then we have Ashley's daughter Annie in the room, and I feel really privileged to think that there are really little ones in the room, because whether you're a parent or not, if we are women, which we all are, I feel that if there's ever been a time on planet Earth for us to light the light inside of our heart and then shine it everywhere we go, now would be the time. I told a story. I was speaking somewhere a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling the story when I was raised in a Jewish mystical tradition, and in the Jewish mystical tradition, there's a prayer we pray to be like a rooster. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that before, but when I was little and I heard, oh, we're praying to be a rooster, I was so curious about that. Why a rooster? So I don't know if any of you know this, but a rooster, why it's sacred in this mystical tradition, is that a rooster is the animal that's been through the darkest part of the night. And the rooster is the one that's up at the first rays of dawn. So the rooster is the bringer of the light. The rooster is the announcer of the light. And I believe that speaks to women right now, because anybody notice there's been a little bit of turmoil, darkness, stress going on around us. In the outer world, I feel like it is our time as women to be the announcer of the light, the bringer of the light. So anybody up for that kind of? Yes, that's what I thought we'd dive into that today for a little bit. So we'll be together for the next, 45, 50 minutes, an hour. We're going to be together really exploring the light within your own heart, and then how you can be the bringer of the light into your own world, wherever that may be, with your families, at your work. Obviously, the more intentional we are about lighting our own light, the brighter we ignite that light within us, the more light we have to bring wherever we go. And that isn't always easy. It is a very courageous journey and act, especially when there are a lot of stressors going on in the world, in our world. So I start everything with a centering. And I'm going to take us through a little centering to begin, like I do everything. But I want to tell you a little bit about why I start with a centering. This is something that I'm going to do it. It may take me 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, but it is something that you can do in as little as 3 seconds. It's something that's meant to be very short. Sometimes you need it a little bit longer, but it's something that I'd love for you to consider taking with you when you leave today. It's something that you can center yourself, and no one around you may even know that you're doing it. I center myself over and over and over again when I'm sitting in front of my son. Through his teenage years, he's a young adult, he's in college, he doesn't even know that I'm centering and recentering myself. But what I found is the more centered I can be in front of him, the more present I am, and the more deeply connected we end up. So this is the power of centering. So I'm going to ask you, if it feels right to you, you can just gently close your eyes. If it feels right to you, I just like to place my hand on my heart. It's just a way, something as simple as, I don't know the last time you've intentionally placed your own palm of your hand to touch your own heart. It's a way to physically say to yourself, I'm really interested in allowing my mind to rest just for a few moments. And I'm really interested in connecting at the heart. And then we just begin to become aware of our breath. We're all breathing 24/7, but we're not often aware of our breath unless we are intentionally doing breath work. But this is a moment to just become aware. You can feel the air enter in through your nostrils, and you can feel the air going back through the back of your throat and down into your lungs. Why is this so important? It's important because it's a physicalization. It tells your nervous system, I'm moving my energy from the nose area, the head area, the cerebral area. I'm moving my energy from the cerebral area down into the heart. And so just feel when you inhale, you're literally moving your nervous system from your mind, that can be very active, to your heart that simply loves, wants to connect, wants to be present, wants to be seen, heard, valued, loved, cherished. So in this moment, we're just centering ourselves in our heart. I know that in this space, we're creating a safe space here. We're women supporting women. So you're just imagining the people that are sitting at your table, the women that are sitting at other tables around you. We are all here in support of ourselves and each other. A woman's capacity to support is unending. And so just call to mind someone that you've connected with today. Just send some nice energy. And as you're doing that and you feel this light in your own heart, I want you to bring yourself into your own heart. For most of us, we had to do something to assist us to be here today. Get babysitters, take the day off from work, travel. You may have tried to talk yourself out of coming if you're an introvert like me. And yet and still, you did whatever you had to do, whatever it took for you to be here. Just appreciate yourself. This is how you're choosing to invest in your day, your life. And so as you're appreciating yourself and acknowledging yourself, hopefully you're feeling the warmth of that light inside of your heart. It's safe. We're acknowledging ourselves, appreciating ourselves and each other. Just appreciating Ashley. If it wasn't for Ashley's vision, none of us would get to be connecting today. One woman with a vision, a dream, and look how much she's done. And then just as you complete this little process, just either call forward your intention for being here today that you've already thought of today, earlier today, or maybe a new intention is coming. Maybe there's a quality that you really want to get in touch with inside. Maybe there's a quality you really want to leave with. Just listen. See if a quality comes, an intention comes. And whenever you start to hear something that feels true for you, authentic to you, just gently open your eyes. Excellent. So I did like an extended version of that, right? You could do that in 3 seconds that nobody, I'm sure my husband doesn't even know, but when my hand goes to my heart, it means I need to center. So I'm doing this often, right? Or I'm doing this. You really don't need to say anything in this moment. So did you all get an intention, a feeling of your nervous system relaxing? Anybody get a different intention, a new intention? Shout out a quality. Anybody have a quality you want to leave with? Got to be interactive with me. It's after lunch. Impermanence? Oh, I love that. Impermanence. Yeah, let's be present in this moment because it's going to be gone. Connection. That's a girl. Connection. Very good. Anybody else? Gratitude. Love it. Slow down. Slow down. Anybody else have that? Slow down. Love it. Love it. Any other ones? Any back here? Patience. Patience. Excellent. So we're going to move into a conversation around wealth and why I believe wealth is so important. So we were saying earlier, you know, the etymology of the word wealth means well-being. It comes from the word well-being, and I love that. The simplest definition that I have of the word wealth is an inner sense of plenty. When I feel that I have an inner sense of plenty, be it finance or be it patience, be it gratitude, be it spaciousness, an inner sense of plenty of time, plenty of patience, plenty of joy, plenty of connection, right? When we have an inner sense of plenty, that is evoking a feeling of wealth. And we as women have been really taught, I think that we are the first generation of women literally on planet Earth that have the opportunity to lead from our feminine. So we have many leaders, we have many women leaders in the world right now, maybe not many, but we have women leaders. Many of you in this room are leaders in your respective jobs and careers. But women, up until now, and even often now, have entered into a man's world. So we're women leading often from and within an energy of often, not only, sorry men that are here, not only masculinity, which masculinity is great, but often toxic masculinity. So I want to take a moment and talk about feminine and masculine just for a moment and why it's so important, right? Because femininity, feminine, the masculine, it's not gender specific. We each within us have feminine energy and we each within us have masculine energy. And it's really important that we have both of them. Men have masculine energy and feminine energy. It's important because the feminine energy is the energy of the being and the connector and that presence that nurtures and cares for and connects and processes and creates intimacy and gratitude and connection. And then the masculine in us is the doing. And the doing is important because we want to have a wonderful quality-filled life. So both are very important. And yet in our culture, up until now, we haven't been trained to honor the feminine aspects of ourselves, right? So we were talking a little bit earlier about what we have been taught about taking care of ourselves, putting ourselves first. What are some of the things that you remember in your own life? Like I, for sure, was taught take care of everybody else before myself, or it would look very selfish. Anybody here? Like I'll kind of just go around the room. So get prepared over here. I'm coming for you. And what were you taught? Any of you guys? What were you taught? Yeah, take care of everybody else. And you're so busy doing that you forget about yourself. It's not even, and we were talking about it earlier. One of you guys was sharing from over here, like, oh, it's so easy for me to be committed to everyone else around me. But we may have great intentions of taking care of ourselves, but we literally forget about ourselves because we're so externally oriented. Very good. Anybody back here? Yeah. Can anybody relate to that? Don't take too much space. Don't take up too much space. Who do you think you are? I really, really, really appreciate that, especially when we're talking about the need for women right now and the need for some light in our families, in our workplaces, in the world. in order to literally, we hear so much and it's rhetoric until we practice it. So we're all in agreement here. Yes, we're a bunch of women. We want to be the light. But when you want to be the light, but it begins to bump up against what you've been taught with, well, Suzi, Lula is telling me to be the light, but everything that I've been taught says don't take up too much space. So they begin to contradict each other. And then you become sometimes frustrated, or I have in my life, I've become frustrated because I know intuitively, I know I'm not here to dim my light. I know I'm here for a reason. I have something to contribute, but then those opposing beliefs of, well, don't take up too much space because who do you actually really think you are, So that's these are very, very important ones. Anybody else? Yeah? Keep your opinions to yourself. Women, we're supposed to be nice. And we're supposed to go like this a lot. Yeah. God forbid somebody across the table. And you think about this, you all. You think of the implications of this. If you just even think about the political arena in our country, what do we need? We need the ability to have two different opinions, both of which being heard, both of which being expressed at the same table. Amen. But when we are taught to smile, keep our opinions to ourselves, be that nice girl, then what, and women are connectors. We're connectors. We have something to say. And so then we become part of the imbalance on the planet because of our own teaching. Someone taught us to be quiet, and it becomes our own internalized voice. And why this is so important is it because it can be as simple as you're at a dinner party or you're having dinner with another couple. It can be very, very insidious. And you're just sitting across from someone, and authentically inside of you, you actually do have something to say, and you choose because of this internalized voice. I'm just going to smile. It's just easier to just smile than see. Has anybody relate to that? Yeah, very, very important one. Thank you. Any other ones? Yes? Oh, don't be angry. And we were talking about that this morning, but really what's happening, we're like a volcano. I'll just again speak for myself. I think that's what really was part of getting me into self-care, because I was a volcano and I think my family didn't know at which moment I would snap. In my own defense, my mom was the same way, so I learned it. Sorry, Mom. We learn it, but I appreciate that. And when you think of a toddler, you think, and we see toddlers, this is how I know that we are wired to be so connected to our emotions, because as Emma was saying today, when we learn not to try to calm someone down, and when we allow someone to have their feelings, they pass through. The thing that prolongs, for any of you who are parents, the thing that prolongs a toddler's temper tantrum is the trying to calm the temper tantrum out of the child, right? When you let it go, it passes. You say what you have to say, and then it passes. So very good. And healthy anger is imperative because it moves us, healthy anger moves us into the masculine. And the masculine is important because there's some work we have to do on planet Earth right now. We're needed. Yes? Anybody else relate to that as a woman? Yeah, raise your hand if you can relate to that. We're taught to be all things to all people. We're taught to be independent. And then we're interdependent people. We're all here. We do need each other. And by the way, when I can be there for a sister, it feels good to be the giver also. But we get stuck in this conundrum, yes, that, if I ask, it's weak. Yeah, it's weak. It becomes very vulnerable. This, again, it's really important. Why is it so important? Because it keeps the cycle going. Because again, if it's easier to just do everything for ourselves, and then we don't take the moment to get vulnerable and go to someone and say, this is really challenging to ask and to receive, I'm going to do it anyway. If not, we keep ourselves not only individually, but collectively as womankind, as women. We keep ourselves from being vulnerable and asking and giving. And it brings me to, if you leave with nothing else today, leave with the quality of receiving. Because if there is one quality that many women have not been taught to do graciously, it would be receiving, right? And I applaud any of the women in this room who have worked through that, who can, raise your hand proudly and go, girl, I can receive like the best of them. This is what healthy femininity looks like, the healthy feminine. This is wealth. Because a sense of well-being happens, we all know that we can give. We know that in spades. You need something done, call a woman, right? Where we haven't been taught is to graciously receive. So I want to take a moment after this comment it's so true, and everyone here raised your hand, really. Many of us raised our hand. So the ability to graciously receive, it's another one of those messages that we've been taught that makes us feel selfish and makes us feel weak. And you even use the word shame, that it feels like something's wrong with me, that I'm asking for assistance. Even if I don't ask, I still feel that there's something within me that shouldn't ask. So we feel guilty and shamed. So I want you to just take a moment right now and just close your eyes for a moment and just think of your life. I want you to get in touch with the simplest thing that you are feeling called to learn how to receive. It's the simplest thing, and don't spend a lot of time. The first thing that comes into your heart, it could be a compliment. What are you being prompted? What would assist you in expanding what would be that first step? If I could learn to receive that. Now open your eyes. What came to you? I'll go over here. What do you guys need to learn to receive? Everything. That was good. Okay, that covered it. That was good. Anything in specific? Other people's time. Is that something when somebody's going to give you their time? It's easier for us, we've been trained to give the other person our time. That feels good, but it feels unfamiliar to ask someone else for their time and then to be sitting there. I often, sometimes with my husband, I feel like, oh, I've said this story too many times, or I'm going on too long, like it's taking too much time. Yeah. Someone else had said support, asking for support in that same, so asking for time, asking for support. Yeah. These ideas keep us disconnected from our own self. So we, I think, probably know intellectually the qualities of the feminine. What are some of the qualities of the feminine that we know intellectually? We are what? We are what? We are nurturers. We have kind of bastardized that word because we have, again, as part of a toxic masculinity, not a healthy masculinity, a toxic masculinity tells us nurture to your own detriment. But when you get in touch with yourself as a woman, that the woman has the womb, the woman receives, right? So the woman is the creator. The woman is the nurturer. A nurturer is as simple as having a sister friend, a sister girl, like crying on your shoulder. It just feels good to let someone feel safe in your presence, doesn't it? There's just a remarkable feeling when you can allow someone else to feel safe in your presence. That healthy way of nurturing simply by our being, not by anything we do, simply by your presence. I have called each one of these two women so many times, and they have been their being it's not, they have done a lot for me, but it's not what they do for me that nurtures me. It's who they are for me that makes me feel nurtured and held and seen and valued and cherished. So it's a nurturing. We want to leave here today really clear that nurturing is not only about doing. The purest form of nurturing is being. And often we feel like, well, that's not enough. I have felt that way. Just really, just being me, that it doesn't feel like enough sometimes. We feel like we need to do in order to be enough. Nurturing. Any other qualities of the feminine? Yes. Multitasking. So this is where we get into trouble because we are authentically multitaskers, right? But when you put that into a world that tells you the more you do, the more worthy you are, then you lose touch with the gift of multitasking. And multitasking is a gift. I can be nurturing and I can be prepping. Women, because we are nurturers and we are wired to care for others, we are wired to be able to care for ourselves and task at the same time. Again, the authentic, organic, real gift within us, when put into a doing culture, it burns us out. But it's not meant to be that way. When you're really in a true, authentic multitasking, it actually resources you because you feel like, yes, very good, excellent. Any other qualities of the feminine? Any other, yes? Sensitive. Have any of you in this room ever been called too sensitive? On planet Earth right now, with the multiple wars that are going on, political systems, social media, they were talking about media earlier. With what's going on in planet Earth right now, does anybody in this room argue that we could use a little more sensitivity on planet Earth? Could you imagine if every one of us in this room, just in this room, just us, if every one of us in this room decided that our sensitivity was going to be our superpower and that no one was going to tell us anymore, a child is so sensitive. They're so sensitive. They run up to their moms. They want to be with their moms. They want to touch you. You know, they want to be with you. We are all, this is masculine and feminine, but it's feminine to be sensitive, to be aware of each other. As women, you're aware when your sister is hurting before she even says a word, no? You're just aware. We have a radar. We have an awareness. This idea of sensitivity is so important. Could you imagine if you embodied that before you left today? You've only been taught and trained not to cry, not to be sensitive. Oh, don't be so sensitive. Why are you so sensitive? When you recognize, I'm a sensitive being, and why would we not want sensitive beings on planet Earth? And as women embody our sensitivity and take up space with our sensitivity, what will happen to the men and the boys around us? They will also be able to relax within themselves. I'm raising a son. I don't want my son to disconnect from his sensitivity. It makes me emotional. It makes me sensitive thinking about it. It makes me dang sensitive thinking about it. I don't want my son to be disconnected from his sensitivity because I want him to be sensitive to his own family. I want him to be sensitive to himself. I want him to be sensitive to planet Earth and what's going on in planet Earth right now. And I want him to be sensitive should he choose to marry a woman or be in a relationship to a partner. I want him to be sensitive. So we have been trained, but you know what? we don't have to walk out of this room anymore. Just because we have been trained that way doesn't mean that we're not intelligent beings going, wait a minute, we've been trained, but that doesn't mean that I need to carry that on any longer, right? So as we're thinking about these qualities of the feminine, I want to take us through a little bit of inner time, because going back to this idea of wealth and well-being, it springs from inside of us, right? We all know this. You know, individuals, I have been an individual with, X number of dollars in my bank account, and by all external purposes, everybody would say, girlfriend's doing just fine. But that didn't mean that inside of me, I felt like I was enough. I felt like I was worthy. I felt like I was wealthy. And so what I want you all to leave here today with, like, I literally don't want you to stand up from your seats without getting this today. I want you to really get at whatever place you're at. You already may have a great sense of your own worthiness. You may have a great sense of your own wealth, and that's wonderful. Why? Because we're infinite beings. We're infinite. No matter where you are on your journey, there's more. And we need some women that are ready to stand into the more of ourselves. And so I'm going to, yes, yes. I like a woman that will yell, yes. So it starts within, it's a feeling. Like I said before, it's an inner sense. It comes from inside of us. And so why I like to go through what we've all been taught is because we have a lot of these things in common. We've all been taught similar things as women. And now it's our time as women to come together in a collective and say, okay, we've been taught, we've been a little suppressed over a few generations, many, but that doesn't mean that we need to walk out of these doors suppressed any longer. That doesn't mean, just because we've internalized it, doesn't mean that we need to keep it going. The one thing that we do have, every one of us has in this room right now, we have dominion. And we have dominion over ourselves. And it may be a journey, but we have dominion to connect into an internal flow inside of us. And we may have been trained and feel distanced from it, but we also, this is also not only a feminine, this is feminine and masculine, but we all have a really strong intuitive voice within us. Every single one of you has a very, very, very strong intuition. It's just we've been trained not to follow it, especially as women. Override that. So I want to take us into little bit of an inner time. Maybe I'm going to play a song for you. So 3 minutes, listen to a piece of music. Couple of minutes after the song, I'm going to just take you through a very short guided process. But it's mostly meant for you to relax. You're going to get to hear a beautiful piece of music, and I want you to just relax. I have a saying that we transform the most effectively to the degree that we are the most relaxed. The more relaxed you are, the more into the flow you will become. And that's why the mindfulness movement is so popular right now. It's just trying to help us find ways to relax. When our nervous system is relaxed, we can just let go. That's when we begin to remember our power and who we really are, our heart, our loving presence. So we're going to take a few minutes in the quiet. So just get yourself into a comfortable position. I'm going to be listening to a song, so it's just however you feel comfortable. And this song is called Girls. You might know it. It's by Rachel Platten. She wrote it for her 2 daughters. I think it's really important that you hear someone singing this to you. And I want you to imagine, what if someone had been singing this to you every day of your life? What if someone had told you these things every day of your life? You want to just start it? You might even want to place your hand on your heart.
Hope you always know your worth, though I know that life can hurt. Hope you know that you can turn to each other. Hope you learn to trust your voice make mistakes and make some noise. Hope you never lose your joy or your hunger. Girls, you were born to run, to reach the stars.
Just stay in the quiet. I want you to just begin to tune into your heart. Who are you when you let loose, when you let the wild, free, uninhibited, fully expressed part of you out? Who are you when you are at your most free? Who are you when you are at your most authentic? Who are you when you feel that light within your heart is lit and you're not afraid to shine? Who are you when you begin to find that courage to take up your space? Who are you when you set a boundary and commit to it? Or you allow yourself to be assisted by a sister, by another? And just begin to feel into who are you when you take all the restrictions off of yourself? Who are you when your shoulders are light? Just begin to connect. There is a next version of you. There is a next chapter of you. There is a beautiful, wise woman that is beckoning you into your next version. And just become aware of that next version of you that's pulling you, that's welcoming you, that's beckoning you, that's wanting you to shine. And now I want you to let that next version of you just talk to you. What is she asking you to do? Maybe she's telling you it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to put some of the burdens down. It's okay to take up your space. If that next version of you was talking to you, maybe writing a letter to you, what does she want you to hear? What do you want to not go one more day without hearing? Like Hannah was saying, what if it's as simple as every morning when you wake up, you say, I love you. And then as you're feeling this, the last thing I want you to do is just saying to yourself, I see you. I see you. I got you. I'm with you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for you. I want to repair any ways that I haven't been here for you. I'm down for the rest of the journey. You begin to see yourself and you're on a bridge. You're on the center of the bridge and you can look back and you can see where you've come from. And you look ahead and you can feel who you are when you're wild and free and uninhibited and unapologetic. And you're taking up your space and you're shining your light. And I want you to see the next version of yourself come from the other side of that bridge, come to the center of the bridge, and I want you to see that next version of yourself holding your hand. You're not walking over the rest of this bridge alone. You're walking over this bridge and you're holding your own hand. And I just want you to feel the good feeling in your nervous system that comes when you know you are holding your own hand. I've got you. I'm with you. I'm not going anywhere. And then whenever you're ready, gently open your eyes. I want you to just stay in that feeling and just anything, I want to hear anything that you know is like your mandate. It's like your mandate, like I'm not walking out of these doors. I'm going to listen to what just came to me. So anybody? Yes. And you're saying it to yourself now. It's so easy to say it to everybody else. So yeah, so let's everybody just do that. Just close your eyes and say to yourself, I'm worth it and I deserve it. I'm worth it and I deserve it. And I'm willing to say this to myself every day. Yeah, very, very good. Anybody over here? Trust it? Yeah, trust. Yeah, excellent. Can you imagine if we had all just been raised, trust yourself. You got it. Trust yourself. You got this. You got this. Trust yourself. Very good. Yes? You're a goddess. Stand up. You're a goddess. Yes. Yes. It's so crazy that it feels so good to say this stuff and we don't say it. You're a goddess, girl. Thank you for saying it out loud. Yes, there was somebody over here. Yes, in the back. Not to be afraid and to believe in yourself. Excellent. Very good. Very, very good. Yes? You're a badass. We got a goddess and we got a badass. So we got the gamut covered in here. You're a badass goddess. I will take that. I will take that, right? We're a badass and we're a goddess and we're everything in between. And it's about time that we take up that space, right? Exactly. Anybody else? You see, manifestation is really important. Once you say it out loud, do you see the different energy? Once you say it out loud, the whole room comes alive, right? So we don't want to keep it to ourselves. Yes? Thank you. Thank you. Hanno said when she was introducing me that one of my big inspirations for doing this was my son, for the very, very, very same reason, because, you know, we all know this, it's such a cliche. You can't say to a child, do what I say, not what I do, you know? And so, yeah, I appreciate that. Imagine our girls born into this, you know? Anybody else? Yes? Amen. We are all exactly where we're meant to be. Imagine saying that to yourself every day, like, girl, you're good. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Beautiful. There was somebody else? Yes? Oh, she said that if you couldn't hear, she said that she actually brought her daughters with her in the closed-eye process over the bridge with her, and she can't wait to get home to share it with them. That's so beautiful. Can I call you out because you're just the perfect segue into this next little thing? So this is Robin. I just met Robin. Will you mind standing up? So this is Robin. Everybody meet Robin. What I want you to know about Robin is that Robin is an example for every single one of us. She's one woman who took one action, and it's why we're all here today. Was anybody here last year at Bridge to Brilliance? Yeah. Do you remember? It was just so exquisite and so beautiful. And Robin approached Ashley during the event last year, and she said, we have to have it at the Four Seasons. We're here today because she was in the room and felt compelled to approach another woman. And this happened because one woman felt something, and then she spoke what she felt to another woman, and we're all here. And this is what I want us all to leave with, is the power of one person, the power of you. Because often we can think, oh, I don't really matter that much. But Robin, you're such a perfect example because we are all here because you felt something. You felt something, and then you spoke it, and then now we're all here. This is the power of one person. If Robin had sat in that chair last year and said, oh, I don't know, maybe Ashley won't want to change venues. Oh, I don't know, maybe I can't get it approved. If Robin had talked herself out of it, we wouldn't be sitting in this room right now. So I really want you to hear this. This isn't, it doesn't have to be these grand things that, 1.5 million followers hear about on Instagram. Robin made a change in her own world. So this last part before we leave, what I want you to hear is the courage of being the first one in your group. We all have a little, it's either your family, it's either your work environment, your work culture, your family culture, the greater culture. I have had moments in my life where I was the first person and I was really nervous about being the first person. We chose, it was just our personal choosing. We chose not to do very much media for our kids. We wanted them to be just more outside playing. And, I was that mom. I was that mom. And what did it entail for me? It entailed of me calling my other girlfriend moms and going, well, this is what we're doing. You come over to our house, we're gonna be digging in the dirt in the backyard. I'm gonna be hosing down your kids, but I'm gonna ask, can we leave the phones at the front door? What did I find by being that first person? I found so many people going, oh my God, thank you. I want the phones left at the front door. It just takes the first person to be uncomfortable. I did the same in my career. It's one of the better things I've done when I had my son, and I'm a therapist, and people said, you can't not see clients at night. Like, they get off work, you have to see clients at night. But I wanted to be available for my son after school. And I just thought, this was, my son's 20, so this was a long while ago. And I just kept thinking, if I'm somebody that's worked a whole day at work, do I really want to go see a therapist at 8 p.m.? Not really. So I'm probably saving them their evenings, right? So I just found people that would go into their car at their lunch hour. And I see a lot of clients in their car on their lunch hour. But I was just the first person. And now we know about the wellness movement. We know that it's great to take some time in the middle of the day because you're going to be more productive in less time because you've taken some time for yourself. But that wasn't out in mainstream back then, but I was the first person to do it. So I'm just going to ask you, what could you be the first person to do in your world like Robin? She was one person that basically helped to make this happen. What could you be the first person? It could be in your marriage. It could be in your culture. I know this is the scary part. It's vulnerable. I need you guys. I just told you two. I love this. Yes. I love this so much because I'm just thinking how much the world would change. Because imagine you just shared how you do it in your family. Imagine you're that person in the culture of a work environment where the work environment is a little closer to the vest, right? And you don't go around being all touchy-feely, right? But what did Emma say this morning? What is it that we know that every one of us wants while we're on planet Earth? We want to know that we matter to someone. We want to know that that I mattered at work today, or I mattered at home today. And so by being the first one to say, wow, I really saw how you brought XYZ or you did XYZ, it actually will change the culture of a family. It will change the culture of a work environment. It's not small. That is a great example. Thank you very much. And it's an example of, I love even that you said some people are awkward with it at first. And that's right, because when we're changing, we go to the familiar. So it's a little unfamiliar, but it will light people up, and that's how you change a culture. So bravo, bravo. Okay, we're gonna end with, this is full disclosure. I gotta get you up out of your seats, right? But full disclosure, when I'm in my seat and a speaker comes up and says we're gonna do something like that, what I'm gonna say, I'm often the person that's going, oh, I don't want to do this. So I'm just saying, full disclosure. So before we do it, I got to ask, who are my extroverts in the room? Love you. We're gonna need you. We're gonna need you. Who are my introverts? Who are my introverts in the room? Okay, so look, we got about 50-50. We got some extroverts, we got some introverts, okay? This is so easy, but sometimes it's hard for women to do this. All I'm gonna do is play a piece of music that's gonna celebrate you. That's all it is just a piece of music that's gonna celebrate you. But we have to, this is Bridge to Brilliance. So we gotta like get up and move and dance, right? So, hey guys, so I'm gonna play this piece of music. For my extroverts, you're gonna get up and you're gonna start dancing. And for any of my introverts that are like, I don't wanna do it, all my extroverts are gonna go find an introvert and you're gonna get them and all of us are gonna be up. So you're gonna play it.
I can buy myself flowers.
Get somebody, pull somebody in.